This morning, we conclude our series 5 Days, 5 Decades with a look back at the 1990s.
Because we're barely 10 years removed from that decade, the 90s remain hard to define.
But they were 10 very active years.
4, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff of the Space Shuttle Discovery with the Hubble Space Telescope, our window on the universe.
The 90s was such a hodgepodge. You think of the Hubble telescope on the one end, shooting stars, and then you think of the war in Iraq and firing rockets.
Allied air forces began an attack on military targets in Iraq and Kuwait. These attacks continue as I speak.
The Gulf War, in fact, was, I think, for a generation of Americans, the first war that they can remember.
I remember it was a huge victory for the U.S. because we accomplished our mission. We freed Kuwait.
The war is over.
And President Bush received huge praise.
It's hard to believe that just a year later, he lost the election to this obscure governor from Arkansas.
I still believe in a place called hope.
It was such a huge generational change. These were the first real baby boomers to go into the White House.
Done.
Cowabunga!
Cowabunga! Cowabunga, dude.
Oh, I remember the internet just starting and the information superhighway, as they called it.
You've got mail.
The South Africa without apartheid will be a better home for all.
It was impossible to think that there would be a day when Nelson Mandela would be freed.
Grunge was a movement. It was a look.
I've always been considered a slob, and now I'm in fashion.
No fashion sense whatsoever.
Rodney King, a black man, was beaten by white police officers in Los Angeles.
Racism and violence reared its ugly head during and after that beating.
The fact that this was happening in the United States of America was unreal to many of us. And thank goodness nothing like that has happened since then.
Can we all get along? Can we get along?
Wow, what the heck happened?
The picture of that building after it exploded and it was just a shell.
There was just an explosion.
That was the first time, I think, that we felt domestic terrorism like that.
I remember going with the UN delegation on what was supposed to be a fact-finding trip to Bosnia. This incredible ethnic cleansing was going on. And it was just about every third house had been burned to the ground.
Enough of blood and tears. Enough!
O.J., are you a suspect?
O.J. Simpson. What a circus.
He's a murderer. He was also one hell of a great football player, but he's still a murderer. Remember these words. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Ooh, I remember when the Monica Lewinsky story broke. It was all that we could talk about.
I am profoundly sorry.
You just say the word Columbine and people shake their heads. It was horrific.
A lot of people say, well, what were the 90s about? What was their impact? I'm not sure we know yet.
I got this idea for a show about nothing.
It's the first car from the 21st century.